The REM doesn't increase prices everywhere, and sometimes it actually complicates them. If you're currently choosing a property and telling yourself, I buy near the REM, resale is guaranteed, stop a second. Because that logic is true in certain areas and it's completely false in others. I'm Gabriela Jonas, a real estate broker on South Shore and Laval for over 21 years. Today we are going to demystify the REM calmly with real data. Everyone talks about the REM like it's a universal guarantee. By near the REM, prices will go up. It becomes almost a reflex, except real estate doesn't work like that. A transit infrastructure improves accessibility. It doesn't automatically create value. And in some REM sectors, what we are actually seeing is more density, more construction, more noise, and a resale market that becomes more competitive, not easier. So yes, the REM matters, but not in the way most people think. Why is this belief so widespread? Because it's practically true, and that's what makes it dangerous. Historically, when a city builds major transit infrastructure, properties within 800 meters to 1 kilometer of stations do see appreciation. That's documented, that's real. But, and it's a big but, that appreciation depends on several conditions. First, was the area undervalued before the REM? Because if prices already rose in appreciation of construction, the effect is already priced in. Second, does the area offer other advantages? Transit alone isn't enough if schools are weak, services are absent, or density becomes a problem. Third, what is the profile of the future buyer in this sector? Because resale depends on who will want to buy in 5 to 10 years. That's where this belief comes from. It's based on a general reality, but it's applied without nuance to very specific situations. And that's where mistakes happen. Let me give you concrete examples. Brossard and the solar Unicartier development. The most visible example. The Panama REM station is at the heart of this project. Did prices go up? Yes, significantly. Condos in this area appreciated in anticipation of the during construction. But here's what the listings don't tell you. Density has exploded. Condo towers keep going up, which means if you want to resell in 5 years, you'll be competing with fewer, more modern units, possible at similar prices. I have a client who bought a condo near the Panama station in 2022. Beautiful unit, great view, purchase price $465,000. In 2025, she wanted to sell. Her broker told her, your unit is now in a market with 47 similar units available within 500 meters. Sales price $458,000. After fees, she lost money. It wasn't that the REM failed, it's that over construction in the area neutralized the advantage. Second example, a client who wanted to buy in St. Hubert in an area far from any REM station but very well established, recognized schools, stable neighborhood, large lots. Everyone around him said, don't buy there, it's too far from REM. He bought anyway. Single family home, $620,000. 2 years after, the property is worth $675,000, sold in 24 days. Why? Because the neighborhood fundamentals were solid. The buyer profile was clear, and demand for that type of property in that area was real and stable. The REM was not the determining factor. What I'm trying to show you is that the REM is one factor among many, not the factor. Making a purchase decision based solely on REM proximity ignores 80% of what actually determines real estate value. So, how do you properly analyze the REM's impact on a property you're considering? I give you a 4-part framework. Here they are. Part 1. Distinguish winning sectors from neutral ones. Winning sectors share several characteristics. 1. The property was undervalued before the REM announcement. If you can still find this type of situations today, it's rare but possible in some phase 2 and 3 REM areas. 2. There's a neutral limit to densification. Single-family neighborhood protective zoning, limited space for new construction. 3. Basic services are already in place. Schools, shops, parks. The REM amplifies something that already exists. Neutral or problematic sectors look like this. 1. Lots of new constructions, planning or already underway. Your property will compete with brand new units. 2. Values has already risen in anticipation. The REM effect is already in price. 3. The neighborhood profile is changing quickly. What attracts buyers today may not be the same in 5 years. Part 2. Calculate the real distance to the station. 800 meters on foot is about 10 minutes. That's reasonable. 1.5 kilometers is 18-20 minutes walking. In Quebec winter, that's a different reality. Beyond 1.5 kilometers, without a direct connection, the REM's impact on value decrease significantly. So when a listing says close to the REM, always verify the real walking distance using Google Maps in winter mode. Part 3. Assess the real nuisance. The REM generates noise, not as much as highways, but it's real. It also generates pedestrians and car traffic around the stations. It attracts dense construction, towers, rental buildings, commercial spaces. For some buyers, that's perfect. For others, especially families seeking quiet and green spaces, it can become a problem after a few years. Part 4. Think about your future buyer, not about yourself today. In 5-10 years, who will want to buy your property? Will that buyer profile benefit from the REM? Will the area still be attractive for that profile? Will you be competing with newer, more modern units? These are the real questions. These are the resale questions. Not is it near the REM, but will my future buyer value REM proximity? There's a difference. Here is the concrete decision framework for evaluating a property relative to the REM. Question number 1. Is the REM effect already priced in? Compare prices in the area from 3 years ago to today. If the increase exceeds 15-20% while the general market rose 8-10% over the same period, the REM effect is probably already captured. You're buying at a price that already includes the advantage. Future appreciation linked to REM will therefore be more limited. Question number 2. What is the densification ceiling of the area? Look at the municipal zoning. Are there vacant lots nearby? Have permit condo towers already been granted? If yes, prepare for resale competition. If the area is mostly made of existing houses and zoning protects against excessive densification, that's a positive signal. Question number 3. Do the 5 senses test. Visit the property on a Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. and on a Friday evening, 6:30 p.m. Can you hear the REM, the buses, construction? Can you see cranes, vacant lots that will become towers? What you see and hear during an open house on a sunny Saturday afternoon doesn't represent your real daily life. Question number 4. Check future REM phases. The REM continues to expand. Areas that don't yet benefit from the REM may potentially benefit in coming years. This is where buying opportunities may still exist before the price effect fully materializes. Your broker should be able to guide you toward these areas if relevant to your situation. Question number 5. Don't confuse accessibility with value. The REM improves accessibility. That's undeniable. Less cars, dependency, less commute, stress, better access to Montreal. But accessibility doesn't automatically create value if the other fundamentals are weak. A good property near the REM, excellent potential investment. A poor property near the REM, bad investment with good transit. There you go. 5 questions, simple, but if you ask them systematically, you'll avoid the mistakes I see regularly in this market. The REM is a permanent reality on the South Shore. It's changing how people commute. It's changing the dynamic of certain neighborhoods, but it doesn't replace your rigorous property analysis. What I'm offering is simple. Before making a decision based on a REM proximity, let's talk about your specific situation. Which area interests you? What's your ownership horizon? What type of property? What budget? Because with that information, I can tell you very clearly whether the REM impact is a real advantage in your case or a marketing argument that doesn't apply to your situation. That's the value of an experienced broker, not just finding properties, analyzing whether it's the right choice for you. If you'd like, the link to book a free call is in the description. 20 minutes, 15 minutes, no pressure. We look at your situation calmly. And if you're not really ready yet, my next video covers the most costly mistakes first-time buyers make on the South Shore. I think you'll find it very useful. Thank you for watching.